to kind of just give you an idea, how I've ended up where I am today. You know, yeah, I don't have a retirement, right? You've got little things here and there. I've got a tiny little pension from a job up in New York from a while back. But really, when you think about retirement, what are you going to do? I mean, we look at that retirement age of is it early retirement at 55, 62, 65, and everyone says, well, it's going to get even, the age is going to increase for you to, it's just, you know, I want to say thankfully now I'm giving it some more thought than I should have in the past. You don't think you're going to need to be putting in a 401k or a pension, not that there's really pensions anymore. And it just gets you thinking. And I look at this, the flip side here, with me, with you, the YouTube channel. There is a podcast now I've got, so you can check out the podcast episodes. It's a way for me to just talk. And you'd be surprised, at least I'm surprised, at how many people just want to hear me talk or other people talk about things that they're going through, things that they find entertaining as well, things that, commonalities that you don't think other people would really care about. And that's why I started the flip side. It was a chance for me to kind of talk. I mean, look, friends and family know one side of me, but me personally, I get to kind of do things a little bit differently in this setting, in this situation, kind of talk more about things in general. Okay. I didn't think I would really kind of 6 years later be doing any social media, or at least the YouTube channels, things like that. 6 years ago, I started my first YouTube channel, and the card is right there, I think, on one of these sides. And it's not meant to be, hey, go check out this video, but I did it because I wanted to have fun with it, right? And it was a guitar lesson, tutorial channel. I play guitar. I figured, let me do something. Because at the beginning of COVID, I wasn't going to be able to do much of anything outside the house. Let's do this. And it kind of grew. And it grew to the point where after a year and a half, 2 years, I was monetized. And it was really good. Really good, meaning I got monetized. I think I make $100, at least I was, every 2 months. So is it great? No, but it's monetized. If you do the numbers, getting monetized, the percentages of channels and getting monetized, it's a small percentage. So it was kind of cool to see I fell into that category. But I tend to be lazy. Anyone in my family is going to tell you I'm lazy just because I get bored. And as you get closer to the finish line here, it's like, well, what are you going to do when you retire? I've got nothing planned. And I was like, well, let me take advantage of some of these little things that I've been doing. This isn't meant to be, well, here's how you can retire and make money. And, if you don't have anything right now, I think those are some of the funniest videos I've seen, where it's like someone with 30 subscribers is telling you how to, you can change your life. I got 33 subscribers. I'm not saying I'm any better, but I'm not trying to ram something down your throat here that doesn't make sense. I'm just kind of walking you through my life. And I think I'll do more of these in terms of just how I've gotten where I am. And I haven't even really prepared for this video. So if I'm all over the place, shame on me, but you understand why. So more and more you start thinking about, all right, what's going to happen down the road? What do I do here? How do I do this? And how do I take advantage of stuff that I've probably done in the past, but I just haven't really tied all these loose ends together? Okay. And like I said, doing the flip side with richieflip was an idea for me, at least in my opinion, to start channeling a lot of things that have been all over the place into one stream, sort of, kind of, at least to be a little more coordinated and put together, I guess, in a way. Like I mentioned up here, if I haven't done it before, my first channel was called Six String Fun. Now it's called Richie's Music Corner. And I'm not even sure I'm going to keep it that name, but I was making videos and tutorials, doing stuff with my bands, and it was fun. But it is a lot of work. Like, you've got to put in the time to get monetized. You've got to put in the time to get your subscribers. What is it? 4,000 watch hours, 1,000 subscribers. And I did. And then from there, I had an offshoot of a channel with just trucks. No lie, just 18-wheelers. We still do travel between here and New Jersey. And on the side of the road, we would stop and I would just film tractor trailers, like, not the ones today, but, the ones from the 70s, 80s, and, some of the 90s. That make all that noise. That's what people wanted to hear, at least, that particular group of people. And you talk about people going viral. I've never gone viral except for one video. It was a 7 or 9 second video of a truck. And it hit I haven't even looked in a while, but it hit 2 million views. But the problem is I've never hit the requirements for your subscriber count, for the hours. So you can see I'm all over the place, right? So last week or two, I've really made a conscious effort to try to get myself set up where, I can look beyond 53, 60, 65, 70, 75 when that time comes, Lord willing, please, that I can be doing something and it's helping towards my retirement. Look, we're all different. We have to figure out what's going to be best for us, right? And these little things that we're doing now, whether we realize it or not, could be setting us up for that type of success. Perfect example. We all have bucket list items, right? I had one. It was to write a book, publish my own book. About 9 years ago, I had the idea. It was about 9 years ago, 2016, 2017. And I started writing. Had no idea what I was doing. But you know what? I wanted to do it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to write. I'm going to do this, on the laptop nonstop. And again, I had my days where it was like, oh, I don't want to do this. I'm lazy. And then I had one day in particular where I must have cranked out half of that book. And it was like, holy crap, how did I do this? And I got to the point where the story was there. I had a very good friend of mine start the proofreading and the editing. But you got to get to that point where it's going to be a professional editor and it's got to get published. And I mean, the cost to do it was like, it doesn't sound like much, but it was 4 or 5 cents per word. I was looking on Craigslist because I figured that was the cheapest way to do it. 4 to 5 cents per word, 45,000 words, and that adds up. I'm like, forget it. You know what? I shelved it, done with it, and just time goes on. And then I hit the point where it was like, this has got to change. I have to do something about this. And sure enough, I got into that frame of mind, that mood, and I did it. I did everything myself. Whether I did it right or wrong, I did it. Google's your friend, and now AI is probably more of a friend when it comes to that. I'm not a friend, not really into AI, but if you know how to use it for certain things and not just have it do things for you, it's a great tool. So AI is going to be great for me in the future with this. But how do you publish your book, and what do you do here, and how do you do that? Well, you know what? Long story short, I was able to publish my first book. This isn't meant to be a commercial for this book, but it's to show you that it's not an AI generated book, which I think is ridiculous that people are doing that. My 2 cents, you can rip me all you want for that. But my cousin helped me with the cover. I got a picture of me on the back, right? And it's about 140, how many words is it? Not words, but pages. Okay. About 160 pages, right? I still can't even tell you what it's about because it covers so many different areas. But that said, meeting Uncle Jake, I was able to do this where it's on Amazon. You can get it as a paperback. It's on the the KDP for electronic copy, so it was like a bucket list item. So I did it, got it up there, and I was like done with it. But I never followed through. And you don't think about it after a while because it's like, oh, well, just you didn't follow through, you're done. But through this last week, 2 weeks, because I was kind of really in a slump. We'll call it a slump, right? We all have these. You start thinking about the future and what's going on, but little things happen where all of a sudden you skyrocket, it's like a rocket ship right out of that, right? So, and that's what happens. So I've got this idea of how am I going to use this to my advantage now? What do I have to do to advertise? What do I have to do to kind of get it out there in front of a whole lot of people? I've bought what they call author copies of this, right? So I've got this here. They're right here somewhere. I think I got a bunch of them right here, right? So great. These are all sitting around here, right? So how do I use this to my advantage instead of them just, collecting dust and being decorations on a shelf? These are all the things I'm working on now because I want to keep writing. This is all part of the retirement plan. It's not going to make me a millionaire, but between certain things, if you can kind of do your thing and do your jam, whatever it is, all these little things I think are going to make a huge difference eventually down the road. And this is just one part of that cog, right, for that wheel. So I'm already working on a second book. It's not a continuation of this, although that is going to happen at one point, but I haven't done anything. So I've got to kick my butt and get into gear to do that, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is I really have been using social media. When I say social media, more so YouTube, just like we're doing right here, to just do things and get things done. Like I said, I've got a guitar channel. I've got the truck channel. All that information is somewhere. If it's not above here, it's in the description. You can look right below. It's going to be there. And I just need to continue doing certain things. And it's not a matter of, and again, I'm not telling you how to do this. I'm not an expert in this, but I do know that, you see results when you do things and you get things done and you're proactive and you're not sitting around wondering what the hell is going to happen next. Okay. And it kind of goes back to, there's no retirement. Like I said, I've got a small little retirement. When the time comes, is it going to be able to do anything with it? It might be a car payment, great. But what about everything else I've got to do in life? So I'm trying to find these different avenues to get things rolling. So that way when the time comes, because it's going to take time. People talk about the viral videos and it's great, but is it long-term sustainable? I don't know if just a one quick video. So it's about building a brand, building your followers, building your videos, building. And again, within the last week or so, I've had this fire and I don't know where it's coming from. I really don't. But I have to figure this all out. We all do, right? And I'm sure that if it's me going through this, I'm not the only one. Someone my age, early 50s is going through it as well. Maybe even in your 40s and you're trying to be proactive and you don't know what's going to happen. Start thinking about these things now. I mean, I wish I had done it sooner. Everyone, you got to put in your 401k. Yeah, but it'll be fine. Well, here we are. Okay, so it's a matter of what can I do differently instead of just waiting for something to happen. I like to, how do I call it? Reactive. Instead of being reactive, I'm being proactive. That's the whole point of this. And again, this isn't meant to be. This whole video is meant to be clickbait or you're blowing smoke up my rear end. I'm just telling you where I am and how am I trying to get around this. Okay, what am I doing to make life a little bit better? Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but it's going to help me out in the long run. Like I said, and maybe maybe the whole point of me being this energy I'm having, doesn't sound like the weirdest friggin' thing in the world. Okay, earlier this week, Rush went back on tour. I get it. There's no Neil Peart. It's Geddy. It's Alex, Annika Niles, and Lauren Gold, but it's not Rush, but it is Rush. Okay, Rush is my favorite band in the whole world. Alex Lifeson was my inspiration to start playing the guitar. So maybe because this band is back out there, I've got this fire to be like, yes, I can look forward to the next day, looking forward to the set list and what did they play, what didn't they play, and that's what's gotten me moving here. It could be anything for anybody, right? Hey, the Knicks could win the championship tomorrow, I think it is. Maybe that's what's getting people rolling here. I don't know. But you've got to, at least for me, I'm trying to find out what is it going to take for me to kind of get to that next step and just be, I don't even know what the word is, not proactive, but man, just keep that fire going, keep that drive moving. And I think that's where we have to start thinking about when you're at this age, what are we going to do? Look, some people are set up for life because they invested, they've done this. I am not taking anything away from them. That just wasn't me. I didn't know how to invest. I can't do anything about it. But I can do things like, all right, I've got this book. How do I get it out there for people to read? I've had people say, hey, it's an amazing book. They loved it. Are they blowing smoke up my rear end? I'd like to think not. So how do I get this out there? Do I do book signings? Book signings, it sounds like I'm so important. You set up at a flea market or a farmer's market. But I, get a whole bunch of books with me and I can sign them and sell them. That'd be great, right? So that's one of the best ways to advertise as well. So I've been doing Amazon, the affiliate program, because there are things that I truly believe in as far as products. And if I believe in it and you want to know about what I do, those are mainly in my videos for any of the guitar stuff I'm doing. Band related, Rush, Springsteen, Van Halen. I'll let you know, hey, if you're into this band, these are the 5 things you should be listening to, in my opinion, to really get a feel for how this band sounds. Little things like that. And I think it's a matter of just not getting overwhelmed as well. When I get overwhelmed, man, I shut down. It's like, leave me alone. Don't want to talk to you. Get away. It's probably not the healthiest way to do things. Is it right or wrong? I don't know, but it's just not healthy. Because then you shut down and then you don't want to do anything. And then a day goes by, 2 weeks goes by, years go by. And you're like, oh, yeah, I started that. I don't know if I'm going to finish it. Forget about it. I think, at least for me, I'm at a different point in my life. I've got to kick my own ass and say, here's what you got to do. Here's what needs to be done. And get it done. Really, I don't know how else to describe it as far as how I look at it. I've got responsibilities, and that's responsibilities covers a lot of territory for me. And some of these responsibilities, and they're responsibilities. Okay, it is what it is. No problem. But sometimes responsibilities can be a responsibility that you don't want at the moment. It can be difficult, and it's not a bad thing, but it's just like, okay. But eventually, that light at the end of the tunnel isn't another train. It's actually the light at the end of a tunnel. So, so it's a matter of getting to certain milestones and benchmarks to help me out in the next 6, 9, 12 months. Okay. Little things make a huge difference. And I think when you start to see some positive things that could be happening, instead of positive things you see 6 years down the road, not even positive things, just 6 years down the road, you can't see your own hand in front of your face at that point. But when you've gotten to 5 years, close to 6 years, whatever it might be, life becomes a little bit more manageable. Don't want to say easy, but just manageable. Um, and that's how I've been approaching things. So that's why, yeah, I got this done a year ago, and then it just sat. I didn't do anything with it. Okay, I need to do something with it. My guitar page, my YouTube channel for guitar and lessons, tutorials. I found myself, I was on a spot where I just couldn't get anything done. I was trying so hard to come up with songs to do lessons to. There's millions of songs out there. You tell me I can't come up with some songs I haven't done before in the last 6 years. It became hard. The Rush thing came about, and I'm cranking out these shorts about Rush. Hey, opening night, what'd they open with? Here's a set list, night 2. Night 3's coming up tonight. Night 4, there's a spark. There's a little pep in my step. So these things are huge to me. What are the things that are huge for you? I mean, those are the things that can get you rolling here. Is it gardening? Is it sitting on the couch? I mean, look, I'm just sitting here BSing with you. Nothing more than that. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to ram something down your throat. I'm just having a conversation. Because sometimes you can have these thoughts in your head and they don't make sense. Trust me, there's so many times something sounds really good up here and then it falls out of my mouth and it's like, dude, that was just bad. So maybe there's something that maybe you want to sit on the couch and talk about how your day went. Talk about your dog, walk your dog. There's all these things that you can do to just get out there. And I think the more research that I do at my age and older, something like YouTube or something like social media or something, just putting yourself out there, there's a market for that. And I say market meaning it's not really saturated. I mean, there's a lot of people out there much younger than us that just put out crap. You got an AI generating AI stuff, and it's just ridiculous if you ask me. This is something you can have fun with. Again, and that's what I'm doing. Don't know if you want to do it, but look back here. I got this picture. Okay, signed by like 12 different guys. Ted Williams, Whitey Ford. I could probably do a video on, or maybe I should, just to kind of talk about where I got that from. It was 88 or 89. My dad got it for me when he was, quite a regular at the Showboat Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Signed by everybody who was there. And like I said, Ted Williams, Monty Irvin, Enos Slaughter, Whitey Ford, Robin Roberts, Ed Kranepool. Yeah, I can't remember what I did yesterday, but I'll remember that. So that's just kind of my take on this. Sit down, see what's going to work for you. Have some fun with it. Okay, we're all in the same boat. We're not getting out of this world alive. We're all just trying to get through it. Okay, thank you, Bobby Collins, for that quote. It's fantastic. Just go for it. All right, give it some thought. Do something, and I'll be back. I'm going to let you know how these things go. But in the comments, let me know if you're thinking about stuff. What have you done on a daily basis? Let's talk. All right. So, I'll talk to you soon. Later.